Hi, my name is Veenay Sehdev and I'm running for City Council in Ward 7 and 8. I want to thank the Brampton Forum for Municipal Elections for providing this opportunity for us to speak. I think it's a great idea that the people will have the ability to see their candidates, vet their candidates, and finally be able to make an informed decision at the polls. So again, thank you for providing this opportunity. Talking to the forum, people who are really engaged, people who are having conversations about Brampton politics, I really feel like the forum knows what it wants. It knows it wants a candidate whose heart is in the right place, but it also knows that it wants a candidate who has the capability to represent them, who has the skill set to represent them. So I think in this election, what really shows that a candidate has their heart in the right place is if they're making real strides to improve the accountability and transparency at council. Accountability and transparency, a couple things that we want to do. Make sure all the expenses are online. We're going to advocate for that. Make sure that gifts are online. Make sure that there's regular audits, and also make sure that the salaries are in line with other municipalities of other size. I mean, any candidate that's not going to advocate for those sorts of ideas, those sorts of changes, right away I think we can tell where their heart is and where it's not. But moving past whether our hearts are in the right place or not, or whether my heart is in the right place or not, I want to talk about skill set. I want to talk about whether a candidate has the right stuff to represent you. I went to University of Toronto. I graduated with distinction, honors Bachelor of Science degree. I was taught the method of and the process of inquiry and being critical and asking the right questions. And those skill sets are really important when we're at City Council, right? We're dealing with management who are educated, who can write reports and write very critical reports about what's going on and what they're trying to accomplish. And we need the same types of people on council to be able to question those reports, to be able to make sure that the things that they say are happening are actually happening, right? Council is going to set priorities. Management and operations and the rest of city staff are going to go and try and accomplish those priorities, and then we're going to make sure that they're being accomplished to the standard and within time, on budget, within scope, and make sure that everything's going smoothly. So we got to make sure we have the right people in there. I took what I learned at the university and I applied it to practical work experiences. I managed teams. I managed a team of 20 individuals, editors and authors for a global online magazine. And we used the same process, the same methods of inquiry that I learned at university. We talked to our readers, we researched what other magazines were doing, we explored what we were doing, and we made the changes we thought would best engage our readership. We're going to do the same thing when we get into City Council. We've been doing it right now in our campaign. The three issues we picked: youth engagement, attracting business, tackling the gridlock. We came up with those issues because we talked to a large cross-section of Brampton constituents. We realized what the problems were, what the main issues were. We looked at what the city was doing. We looked at what other cities were doing, what solutions were out there, and then we came up with our plan. I'll give you an example. We were talking to parents, and parents were saying, we like some of the things Brampton has to offer. We like the rec centers, we like the sports centers, we like some of the programming. But are there programs that really engage our young people's minds? And we did some research. We saw the mayor's youth team. They had some programs in place. They did an amazing race. They did a park cleanup. They were exciting activities, but we really felt that there was that mind-stimulating activity. There were those activities. There was an opportunity to build these kind of activities. So we looked at other municipalities, we looked at what programs and what solutions are out there, and we found some really interesting ones. There was a program, a national program called Playworks, where students themselves designed activities for other students, and they competed for funding. And the program was quite successful. There's one example of a basketball league that was started in Toronto by students, for students, or by young people, for young people. And it really was successful. It started as a couple hundred people and grew to thousands. And that kind of mind-stimulating activity that not only engages youth but engages their friends and their friends' friends, that's an amazing idea. And it's the idea that parents wanted. It's the idea that constituents wanted. And there's other great ideas too. Case study competitions to solve Brampton problem, similar to the DECA business scenario. I mean, I could go on and on about the solutions we found, low-cost solutions that really engage our young people's minds. But the point I'm trying to make is we did the process of inquiry, I think, will lead to a successful, to a content, to a better Brampton, you know? Find out what people want, find out what we're doing, find out what else is out there, and then come up with a solution. It sounds simple, but it requires the right kind of person to do that, you know? So we've done this process with all our three ideas. Youth engagement is one, you know, where we do want to come up with these interesting, mind-engaging activities for the youth. We also want to increase access to what Brampton is doing well already, make sure that the cost is not prohibitive, and make sure that all youth have access to activities. We want to make sure also that we tackle our traffic problems. We want to widen roads and modernize the lights, and we've allocated money to this already within our strategic plan. If you look at the strategic plan for Brampton in the next 10 years, you'll see the money allocated to widening roads, to modernizing our light systems. We want to make sure that we're using, you know, the best light systems that we can get, and we want to make sure that these projects are done on time and within scope, and the money actually gets there. We also want to make sure we're attracting business. We want to use tax incentives. We read the Brampton Board of Trade's report. It showed that Mississauga's tax rate is actually lower than ours. The Brampton Board of Trade does recommend a drop in the corporate tax rate overall for all businesses. Right now we're saying we should just drop it in terms of incentives to bring new business into Brampton. When we study the issue further, we'll decide whether we want to advocate to drop it for all businesses. We also believe that it's not just about tax rates when it comes to business. You got to look at Brampton's labor force and see what industries we want to focus on. And if you look at the labor force, you'll see the third largest labor force is life sciences. You also see just around you that a lot of young people are going into these kinds of degrees, like myself, but there's a lot of young people that are going into these degrees. Not only that, but the baby boomer population is getting larger, and this industry will be in demand. Healthcare is a great industry to focus on for Brampton. If we bring a university that's healthcare focused, if we have the talent and labor force to be able to work in these kind of companies, that's a strategy that's going to set Brampton up for the future. We feel like we're the right candidate. We feel like I have my heart in the right place, that I am going to be able to bring the change that Brampton needs by being smart, by using a process of inquiry that's going to find the right solutions, and by just getting the job done in the right way. I know the Brampton Forum is engaged. I think it's really awesome. I think having these conversations, talking to each other, sometimes the issues are complex, and I think it's great when you can talk to other people about it. I encourage that this forum continues. I encourage that more forums pop up, you know, and more people discuss what's going on in the city. This is what I love about Brampton. You know, when I knock on the doors, when I look at the forum, I see that there's a lot of smart people, there's a lot of people who care about the community. And I think we need to put someone who reflects the city of Brampton, who reflects its people, into council. So I hope that you see that I do care about the community, that I'm willing to do the hard work in order to make the community a better place, and that I have the skills, I have the intelligence to do the job well. My name is Veenay Sehdev. I am running for wards 7 and 8 city councilor position, and I really count on your support come October 27th. Take care, and I hope the rest of the year is a good one. Bye.